Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another Green Square Talks Battlebots prediction podcast. So, I present you the episode 14 fight card, where we got many great matchups coming. We saw quite a few in the last few episodes, and I'm sure there are quite a few more coming here in this episode. So, several critical matchups here, several matchups with playoff implications, and more. So, yeah, I think another great episode's on the way, just like the previous 13, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, yeah. Before I start sharing my predictions and discussing each of these matchups, yeah, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and reply down below with your predictions as usual. As usual, always love seeing who you all think will win these matchups. So, regardless if you agree or disagree with my predictions. So, let's go ahead and get started here, where it leads off with not the fight I was expecting to be the lead-off matchup, but obviously it's obviously it's got to be a promising fight if they're leading it off. They're leading it off with the Battle of the Big Boys. Well, the other match of the Big Boys because we got Starchild and Mammoth earlier in the season. Starchild's taking on Huge this time, and Huge looking to be the second robot as televised wise to go 4-0 as they're 3-0 right now with victories over Shatter, Blip, and Fusion, and three solid victories too. Huge has been looking awesome. Starchild, on the other hand, not looking so hot here. Currently 0-3 right now with losses to Overhaul, Mammoth, and Gigabyte. And this, I think, is their hardest opponent of those four, too. So with this one, I gotta go Huge. I think Huge is the safe bet here. So my reasoning for this is I think I just don't think there's too much Starchild can really do to Huge here. Cause the only ways I think Starchild can take out Huge is if they can use that spinner and strike a belt on Huge's weapon, disable the spinner, or penetrate the base of the robot. So but then I think Huge is built up. I think from what I've heard, Huge did build the base up a bit more. So I think they could take a few shots. But then, and then with the belts thing, I think Huge has multiple belts and multiple on each side of the weapon. So like, but regardless, so it's a difficult task. But Starchild could absolutely pull it off, and I think those are probably the ways that Starchild could pull this one off. But I'm going Huge here because Huge is likely Starchild is gonna need to take a couple hits from that weapon in order to accomplish the task. Just because Huge has a reach advantage in this one with how that vertical spinner is designed. So Huge is likely gonna be landing some hits onto the base of Starchild, and I'm not sure how well Starchild's going to be able to take those shots from Huge. I'm sure Starchild probably has armor set up to be able to hopefully take a couple hits from Huge because it's coming, whether I think they like it or not, I think. But yeah, sadly, I don't think it's going to be enough, and I think Huge is going to win this one in a knockout, unfortunately. Which is unfortunate because, I had some pretty high hopes when I saw Starchild on the roster for this season, because Starchild is a really interesting design, and I was hoping to see it pull off a couple victories. He's with lots of the concepts they are bringing to this season, but yeah, sadly I think Huge just has too much of a design advantage in this one, so I'd have to go Huge for this one. All right, fight number 2, Ominous and Shatter. Two robots who are in a must-win situation right now. Ominous is currently sitting at 1-2. They start off the season with a brutal loss to Claw Viper, then bounce back with a meh quality victory over Shred It Bro. Oh, and then a promising loss over Switchback in their last match. Shatter, on the other hand, 0-3 right now, and hard schedule too. Who, regardless, well, at least for the because they started off with losses to Huge, who is probably, in my opinion, one of the worst possible opponents for Shatter. uh, Beta, a pretty tough hammer robot, and then Horizon, and obviously in that pretty close upset. But yeah, Shatter has shown some promise in a couple of those matchups at least. So some of those were not bad losses at all, especially the Horizon fight because that was a pretty dang close and high quality showdown from both robots in that one. So, as for my prediction here, I think this is going to be a bloodbath between like on both ends because I think both robots are going to really come out swinging here. I'm going to lean towards Shatter on this one. I bet Ominous is probably going to have some extra top armor on there to be able to take some hits from Shatter's hammer, and Shatter's probably going to use lots of that plastic armor to be able to take some shots from Ominous. So I think it's going to come down to who can take the blows better between the two of them, and I'm a little more confident in Shatter being able to take the shots from Ominous's drum spinner better, but we'll see. But yeah, I think this should be an epic showdown between the two of the Omni Wheel driven robots. And yeah, I'm leaning toward I'm a little more confident in Shatter winning this, but if Ominous can get the shots they need and knock Shatter off balance like Riptide did last season, Ominous could absolutely pull this one off too. So yeah, this is going to be a driving battle for sure, and I'm looking forward to this match. I think we're in for a real treat with that one. All right, fight number 3, Triton and Horizon. Two more robots that I think are in a must-win situation here. Both robots are sitting at 1 and 2. Triton started off with losses to Lucky and Copperhead, who have both been looking great this year, and and then a win against Glitch for their last matchup. Their opponent is Horizon here, who started off with a loss to Shred It Bro, then a brutal loss to Monsoon, then a rock solid victory over Shatter. Was very happy with that fight. Yeah, because what I just want to say involving that one is like when I saw that Horizon was on the roster and then getting to talk with the team for the first time for the newcomer podcast, my big hope if Horizon got in is that we would get at least one fight where we got to see Horizon's tech work in place like they intended to. And they exceeded my expectations for this season with that one fight, and I hope they continue that because that was awesome to see, and get to see them win against like a pretty high tier opponent in Shatter was awesome. So yeah. Anyway, for as for this fight now, so I think this one's gonna come down to basically because I think both robots are pretty vulnerable to hits from big spinners, and because like we've seen Horizon's base is I think it'd be not too hard for Triton to be able to get through to that base. Same thing with Triton, because like we saw it pop open like a tuna can when it took a hit from Copperhead's drum spinner. But yeah, as for this one, I think it's gonna come down to who can get that big hit at least. And I think the reach of Triton with that big horizontal spinner there is why I'm gonna go Triton on this one. Like I think I'm a little more confident in Triton getting that big hit first between the two of them because I don't know whether Horizon would exactly have the reach if they went head on with Triton with the horizontal spinner to be able to clip the sides, the backside right there, just with how far out and how long that horizontal spinner is on Triton. So I think Horizon would probably need to outdrive Triton and get to like the sides of the backside, which is probably pretty difficult because Triton is pretty fast. So yeah, I think I'm gonna lean towards Triton on this one, and yeah, I think this is a must-win fight. I think the winner probably makes the bracket. I would be a little bit on the bubble with Triton just because I feel they haven't had the quality of performance so far compared to Horizon with that Shatter fight. But if we get to see a quality performance here, I would absolutely say, I would say if we get a high quality fight like what we got in like Horizon's last fight, for example, just because I've been talking about that quite a bit, I think the winner of this fight makes it in. Sadly, I think the losing robot is probably out, but hopefully we'll get another good performance here from both robots. Fight number 4, Bloodsport and Beta. So both robots are in a rock solid spot. I think this is probably a battle for seeding purposes because I think both robots are confirmed a spot in the bracket right now because they both had some pretty solid victories so far, and they're both sitting at 2 and 1. Bloodsport, they started off with a brutal loss to Copperhead, but then bounced back with brutal victories over Gigabyte and Rotator. Two high quality victories. And then Beta, on the other hand, started off with a probably less quality victory over Kraken, but it was a pretty solid victory regardless. Then they got a phenomenal win over Shatter in that second fight, and then Black Dragon just didn't go their way. Kind of, it's just they couldn't take the hits from Black Dragon's spinner. But yeah, so with this one, basically, in a way, I'm kind of gonna be second guessing myself here because I have a feeling lots of you are probably going to be picking Beta for this one, just because Beta's probably gonna go with the wedge they typically use against horizontal spinners here, and the fact that Bloodsport's weapon electronics is up on top in that thing right there makes them very vulnerable to overhead attacks at least, but I'm actually gonna go Bloodsport on this one. I think this one might be a little bit of little bit of a spicy prediction here. So basically, where I'm going for with this one is basically Bloodsport definitely their horizontal spinner has been nasty this season. Like that thing has been getting through. That thing has been brutal to the armor of most of their opponents so far, and basically what I'm also going for here is Bloodsport did tell me when I asked them about this when they first revealed that design, and like basically I put in a comment to that post wondering do they have some sort of like overhead armor to be able to for that head right up top in case if they were to go up against an overhead attacker like Sawblaze, Beta, Shatter, so on. And they said they got something, so I expect we're probably going to see something like that there. The other thing being wedgelets. I think this could be a fight where we could see Bloodsport try to use that to try to control the fight a little bit. And yeah, maybe push Beta around because I think they probably win the ground game that way, but that's a risky strategy though because if they went front on, they're vulnerable to hammer shots right there. But yeah, regardless, I think this fight's either going to end in a knockout for Bloodsport or I think it's going to go to the judges, where I think it really could go either way at least. I think it's going to depend on how well can Beta take the hits. Can Justin's driving propel over John Reed's and he can get the hits he wants and control the match? We'll see. But yeah, I think I'm going to lean towards Bloodsport at least on this one because I think that is possible because like I think Bloodsport is a robot that a lot of people might underestimate for a fight like this, for reasons that I've kind of been talking about here, and we'll see on Thursday whether that's the case or not, or if Beta's gonna come out 3-1. Yeah, but yeah, before I move on to the next match, regardless, like I said before, I think whoever wins this, I think this is a seeding matchup here because I think both robots are in a great position to make bracket right now, and yeah, move on to fight number 5, Mammoth and Kraken. So, must-win fight for both robots here. Mammoth currently sitting at 1-2 with that lone victory over Starchild. Kraken's sadly at 0-3 right now, which is really unfortunate because like the new version of Kraken looks like it's had looks like it has so much potential, but then they've just been plagued with gremlins for this season. But yeah, I will admit though, like even though they are 0-3, that robot has been looking better with each fight going forward. Because like the first two fights, they were having some pretty big drive issues within those motors. But then the last match, they got it figured out. It's just that it sounds like Matt Spurg hasn't had enough stick time, and so driving was a little shaky there. But I think just because of how much Kraken has been improving ever since their first fight, that's partly why I'm going Kraken for this fight at least. So basically, I think this one's going to come down to driving at least. Whoever screws up first is going to the other is going to make that robot pay basically. And Mammoth has definitely been plagued with lots of those driving problems too. Because like that's kind of what happened in the Death Roll fight basically, and what nearly happened in the Starchild fight, which fortunately they'd come out on top there. But I think the spinner on Kraken could possibly be a big game changer as long as they don't get flipped and because like and then the driving is proficient for this one. which I kind of bet it is, because like Matsburg has probably had a bunch of time to get some extra stick time with this new version of Kraken and continue practicing with the driving. Because like, don't forget that this is a new robot and new drive system, I believe. So like, it takes a bit to learn how to drive new stuff like this and fix all the gremlins basically, if you get what I'm talking about there. So yeah, I think Kraken, I think Mammoth could be very vulnerable to hits to the sides right here. Whether it's Kraken tries to go for the wheels or they try to destroy some of the support structure, which no team has done so far this season. But Kraken could absolutely be the first with how high that spinner is up on the robot. So we'll see. But I think if Ricky screws up with his driving and exposes his sides here, that could be big. That could be big at least, because Kraken has shown it, especially in the beta fight, that that spinner is no joke, and definitely that thing I think is could be capable of punching through lots of those exposed and vulnerable parts on Mammoth. But we'll see. So yeah, my pick is gonna be Kraken for this one. Not sure what like. I think if Kraken wins this, I still, unless if it's like that high quality of a victory, I maybe might put them in the bubble, but like I think Kraken's probably done even if they win this fight most likely, but we'll see though, and hopefully we'll get a solid show at a Kraken, and regardless of who wins and loses, hopefully we'll get to see more entertaining fights from both these robots. So, yeah. All right, let's move on to Valkyrie and Glitch for fight number 6. So, another one must-win fight right here, because Valkyrie is currently sitting at 1-2. Started off with a win over Mammoth, but then took back-to-back losses to Banshee and Malice. Glitch, on the other hand, in a bigger hole, in an 0-3 hole right now, with losses to Riptide, Lockjaw, and Triton. I will admit though, Glitch is probably in a better spot than all of the 0-3s that I've been talking about so far in this, because Glitch has had some rock solid moments in 2 out of 3 of those fights, talking the Lockjaw and the Triton fight, because we've gotten to see what that Egg Beater can do. It's just that that robot seems to really struggle while upside down, because I hear a lot of its traction issues basically between those Omni wheels and the floor. Because like, but regardless, that egg beater's been hitting hard. The drive has been looking great. Like other than the last fight where it looked like they were having battery issues, I think. But like still though, like like Glitch has been looking better this season, in my opinion, than they have in previous seasons. So like, but yeah, regardless, must win fight. I think either one of them could make bracket if they win this one, but we'll see. As for my prediction, I am going to predict Glitch for this one. Basically, Valkyrie's key to winning this fight, I think, is going to be trying to get around Glitch, try to get around to the side, to the backside, avoid the Egg Beater. However, though, that's been lots of team strategy for taking on Glitch so far this season, and it hasn't worked out for anybody so far. It didn't even work out for Lockjaw, and Donald Hudson's one of the best drivers in the entire field. So, like, I think we're going to see lots of weapon on weapon action in this one. And the reason why I'm going Glitch for this one is like I re- I I'm kind of concerned about the weapon support structure on Valkyrie, like especially after seeing the weapon get completely removed after the Malice fight. I'm concerned we could see a repeat of that, cuz Glitch has been proven time and time again that that egg beater is no joke. That egg beater is such a hard hitting spinner, cuz yeah. We saw it in Triton where they gave Triton a huge amount of air mileage, and they sent Lockjaw flying a couple of times. Well, not as high as like Triton, but they sent Lockjaw back quite a few times. But yeah, I seriously think I seriously think Glitch's Egg Beater is one of those big weapons that Valkyrie would not want to go weapon on weapon with. I don't think anyone would want to go weapon on weapon with Glitch, but yeah, a lot of that support structure is why I'm going Glitch on this one. But not gonna lie, but not gonna lie though, like this is kind of like a more of a side note here. I really want to see Valkyrie manage to get a flip on Glitch, just because I think it'd be funny. Like, I found it really funny, like, a couple seasons ago when we saw Tracer, when the Tracer got flipped by Ribot and Hijinks, both undercutters. Uh, I think it'd be funny to see Glitch get flipped by another horizontal spinner, even if it was the last time they got flipped by a horizontal spinner, it was because of the arena. But it'd still be funny regardless. But okay, yeah, do it for that. Let's move on to the main event now. Black Dragon and Riptide. So I think this is another fight where it's a battle for seeding purposes, because I think both robots are set to make bracket. Black Dragon's currently at 2-1 with victories over Monsoon and Beta, but then took a loss to Quantum in a pretty close judge's decision, I'd say, at least by judging criteria standpoint. Riptide, on the other hand, 3-0, been looking like a monster in the field so far. Like with those victories over Glitch, Mad Catter, and Captain Shredder, quick victories too, who nonetheless. As for this one, like I've said this many times already. If you've seen the episode reviews, in heart, I want Black Dragon to win this one. Black Dragon is one of my favorite robots of all time. I hope Black Dragon wins this one because I don't want to. I don't want to see because I'm very worried that Riptide's gonna get the knockout on this one. I don't want to see that streak end on Black Dragon. I want to see them shatter Bite Force's record for the highest number of fights without being knocked out. Because I think that'd be really cool to see, an absolute honor for that Brazilian team. But sadly, I am going to go Riptide on this one. Yeah, I've been saying this many times already, as you all probably know. Yeah, because basically what I see, how I see this fight going down is like I think Black Dragon's probably gonna try some fancy driving tactics to try to avoid the egg beater, but with Ethan Kurtz's driving style and the speed of Riptide, he's probably not going to let that happen because he's probably going to rush right in there and try to get the upper hand, like what he has in all those other fights too. Because that's been like Riptide's method of winning the fight. Like as soon as they get that first big hit, they are on their opponent until their opponent is dead in the water. So yeah, I seriously bet that first shot is gonna go in Riptide's favor because Riptide has a lot of reach with that egg beater. They have hinted at a fort configuration for this one based on what I've seen in a Discord server, which is kind of interesting. Makes me wonder what are they planning for this one. But regardless, though, I think we're gonna see lots of weapon on weapon action. I think Riptide probably wins those weapon on weapon exchanges, and I worry this fight's going to end in a knockout. But I think Black Dragon's big method of winning this one is, unless if they can outdrive Ethan Kurtz, I think the big tactic of theirs is the fact that, like, this has been said multiple times in the podcast by some of the other co-hosts. Uh, Riptide hasn't had the biggest durability test so far because all three of their fights so far were quick knockouts in their favor. So we don't know a lot about Riptide's durability and reliability. We know a lot about Black Dragon's reliability and durability because like they've had some pretty lengthy fights so far this season at least. And I think Black Dragon's big shot is possibly could they outlast Riptide? But yeah, that's a wild guess to take though, regardless. And yeah, lots of that stuff is why I'm going to be going Riptide. Well, lots of what I've said before about Riptide getting the first hit and then just staying on their opponent is why I am going to be leaning towards Riptide on this one. Sadly, please let me be wrong about this one though, because I do really want Black Dragon to win this fight, just because. Not because of like Riptide or anything. It's just Black Dragon's my favorite robot. Well, one of my favorites. Minotaur's my number one. Black Dragon's my number two. So yeah. All right. I think that'll do it for that one. Let's go ahead and review predictions. All right, so here are my predictions for this one, and I did not make the error. I noticed I made an error in Rotator Infusion last week, thanks to forget who it was who mentioned that in the comments section. Sorry, I haven't gotten a lot of sleep lately, but yeah, my predictions for the week: Huge, Shatter, Triton, Bloodsport, Kraken, Glitch, and Riptide for this one. So, so yeah, as I've been talking about here, a few of these matchup, like I'd say two of these matchups are definitely for seeding purposes because I think all four of those robots are well in place, well secured a spot in the bracket. But the other five fights, those are critical matchups because definitely some big playoff implications right there. So yeah, I think we're in for another real treat of an episode here. We got 7 great matchups that I believe are coming, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I think that'll do it for this podcast. So thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment down below your predictions as usual. Always love hearing what you all have to say about these prediction podcasts and who you all think will win in the upcoming episodes. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.